If you're running a clothing brand right now, I want to help you get much better results really quickly. I had a major epiphany lately while watching a YouTube video on how to get better at golf. Believe me, this is going to come back to the clothing brand thing. I was watching this video on YouTube. Don't judge me. I'm just like anybody else who likes to do things outside of work sometimes. And I'm watching this guy teach me about golf because I'm struggling with my golf swing. And he gives me like this little tip that is to keep my head above the ball and straight in line with the ball. And because most golfers swing, they can't hit the ball accurately all the time. But if you just stay in line with the ball, you can hit it pretty much like 100% of the time. And it was this epiphany like, oh my God, I've just been doing this stupid the whole time. And it was a reminder that these tiny little changes to what you're doing can produce massive and profound outcomes that completely change your results. And I thought about this for my own clothing brand. I was thinking how many things I've done in my own clothing brand that are just stupid, that I expect to get better results, but I'm just doing stupid things that will never get me better results. And until you have those epiphanies, until you find out what those little things are, you're always going to struggle to make the results. And then the second you have that epiphany, the second you have the awareness and you correct those things, the results get so much better. And so I want to share with you in this video what some of those little things are for my clothing brand that were little epiphanies, little adjustments that I made that just got me such better, more profound results for my brand. And I think you're going to enjoy. Here it is. Apparel Success is sponsored by my buds over at Design Crowd. If you struggle with designs, I really recommend that you try them out. You post a project on Design Crowd. Amazing designers from all around the world are going to compete for your project. You choose the winner, then you get that design plus revisions. I've literally sold thousands of these designs and I got them all made through Design Crowd. If you're interested, head over to designcrowd.com/apparel to learn about the special offer that I have for you, or just use the discount code apparel when you post a project on Design Crowd. All right, so the first like crazy, amazing epiphany that I had where I realized, oh my God, I'm doing something so stupid here and I have to change, and it really changed the results I was getting, was I was putting way more value into production value than I was into real value inside of the content that I was creating. So what I mean by this is that all of the content that I was trying to make for social media, I was so focused on the production value, on making it look really good, and on having the highest quality cameras, on having the highest quality everything, rather than actually focusing on the true value of what I was creating. If you look at my content nowadays, it's not that high production value. And that's because the production value isn't number one on my tier list in terms of how to offer value to people. The number one value on my tier list is getting people to laugh. It's getting people to connect with my whole brand concept and my whole brand's personality. If I can do that, it's much better. It's going to go much more viral. It's going to be much more shareable content. People are going to enjoy the content so much more than if I'm trying to be all, look at how pretty everything is. Look at how good all this looks. It's like people don't really care about that when as it relates to my brand concept as much as I thought that it did. The second I made that tweak, the second I started thinking like, how can I create more shareable content that's truly getting people to laugh? Like it's truly getting people to go like, and like spit out their coffee or their drink and share it with a friend because it's hilarious. That is so much more important to me than, you know, how nice the camera is that I'm using to shoot my content. And really one thing that I've realized throughout my journey here while growing my brand is that the market doesn't have a problem. Like when you grow your brand, it's easy to think if you're not getting sales that the market has some sort of problem. They can't see the value in your brand and they should be able to see it better. I don't know why they're not buying. They're so stupid. But it's not that. The market never has a problem. If they're not buying, it's because you're not presenting your brand right to the market. It's always on the entrepreneur. It's always your responsibility to create a brand that is getting received well by the market. It's not the market's responsibility to buy your products. It's your responsibility to show the value of your products to the market in a way where they're going to want to buy it. Another thing that I was doing that was so stupid that is almost hard to admit on here is, you know, for the first couple years, just neglecting the major cornerstones of what makes a good website and just assuming that people will want to buy through the website. Like assuming that people will just click around all of the mistakes on the website, not really care about them, and just still check out and buy our clothing. And what I had to do, and what I eventually obviously did do, is actually make the changes on the website. Like, go into the nitty gritty little details of the website, make sure it's all ironed out, make sure I actually spend time making it look nice, displaying all the products well, spending a lot of time on all the mock-ups. All of that matters, because that's the whole, like, it's a huge part in shaping your entire brand's perception. And so it's one of those things where, just like those little adjustments, those little tweaks, of course that's going to help your brand like crazy. It's one of those major principles to a good clothing brand online is having a great website. And you can't just assume that people are going to click around all of the mistakes and just add to cart still, right? And I'm not saying that you're doing that, but I definitely just neglected it way more than I should have. I really should have put more attention into that. And just that little tweak made obviously a huge difference to the results that I was getting. And honestly, a lot of these little adjustments that you make for your brand that have profound results, they're not even that hard to do. It's more so just about being able to see them and confront them. Like, they're things that you don't have to even spend that much time on, but taking care of and doing the right thing around them will really get you above average results, because so many people neglect these things in the pursuit of just trying to make money that they don't focus on creating an amazing product and creating an amazing experience. And another thing to be said about this is that a lot of these epiphanies will come out of your experience as long as you're working at it. Like, take the golf example. The longer you do it, the more you realize it's not working, the more you look for solutions, and the more you find those solutions. And it's a lot the same with your clothing brand. Like with my clothing brand, for example, another one that's kind of tough to admit on here is that I was selling some products for my brand that just weren't that good. And I'm like, why aren't people buying them? They're so good. Then you just have to come back to square one and be like, well, if people aren't buying them, then that is direct evidence that it isn't good, and that I need to change the products that I'm selling. I need to actually go into my brand, think about what my customer wants, think about how to make the most amazing product possible, and then get reoriented on just making amazing products. A lot of the products that I've come out with in the past, I learned through experience that, okay, I'll never come out with a product like that again because it's just not good for my audience. So over the years, I've really sculpted my brand to only have products that I know people are wanting to buy. I know that they're into. So something that I think every clothing brand owner should do, and that you've likely been doing while watching this video a little bit, is just think about what are the stupid things that I'm doing inside of my clothing brand that I know that if I just adjusted them, if I made some tweaks to them, and if I could find the right solutions to them, I would get much better results. And just do that over and over again. The process of building a successful clothing brand is really these iterations. It's like micro iterations over years, over months, over years. All these changes and all of the sort of honing in on your brand and harnessing the power of your brand comes from these little micro adjustments and changes and improvements over the years, like improving your website quality, improving your product quality, improving the content that you're posting on social media, improving how you're staging everything, just these little tweaks. And you can't do it all in one day, obviously. And you obviously can't do it before you launch. You can do it to the best of your ability before you launch, but you can't do it all before you launch because you need feedback. And so it's as you're growing your brand, you're changing, you're adjusting, you're getting better and better, and your brand should be growing with you. So I really hope that helps you realize that if you're not getting the results that you want for your clothing brand, there's adjustments to be made, and those adjustments are the key to you getting success for your own clothing brand. So don't shy away from them. Dive into them, and I hope that helps. If you're thinking about starting up a clothing brand or you're already running one, I've recorded a 100% free clothing brand course. All you have to do to get access is go to freeclothingcourse.com, and it'll teach you everything about starting up a clothing brand from scratch. I hope you enjoy.